A new book says children born to unmarried parents are in trouble from day one. Helen Alvare writes, children born out of wedlock will experience worse economic, educational, and emotional outcomes than the children of a married couple. The book is Putting Children's Interests First in U.S. Family Law and Policy. Helen joins me now. She's a professor of family law and constitutional law at George Mason University. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you so much.
You say recent Supreme Court rulings put adults' sexual expression ahead of children's well-being. How so?
Well, the courts have basically said that adult sexual expression is a constitutional right, even though it's not in the text. The problem is what that's led to is when adults exercise these rights, as the courts call them, you know, children's family structure is created at the moment of conception. And when children are conceived and born out of wedlock, or frankly, even if they're conceived out of wedlock and then their parents marry later, we know, and sociology is pretty consistent on this, that on average, those children will suffer worse outcomes educationally, economically, cognitively, and it's responsible for a huge part of the gap between the better off and the poor in the United States.
I was going to ask, is this more prevalent among the lower socioeconomic levels?
In the U.S., if you have the good fortune to have a college degree, you're probably also going to have a good job, you are drastically less likely to have a non-marital pregnancy. If you are poor and in your community you have everything from a lack of good educational opportunities, less job opportunities, frankly, fewer marriageable men, it's not going to be as if you're trading off some huge future opportunity. That child is a gift to you. Every child is a gift, but in particular, that child seems to be the best and most possible gift that you could have in your life, even without marriage.
You write it remains dangerous to write about this and that many people have challenged you, saying, what right do you have to tell me how to live my life? What do you say to that?
I say the problem is that the people who are saying that are actually not doing any favor, especially for women and the poor. We've known for decades that this is the case. And what we have now, and why I wanted to write the book, is we have a government situation, the Supreme Court, and sometimes in the White House, and a lot of time in state government, they're actually promoting adult sexual expression with absolutely no regard for children, as if it is the primary right, and they really don't have much concern for the situation into which the children are born.
So many of the problems you describe began with birth control, the sexual revolution of the 1960s, and at that time, Blessed Paul VI wrote Humanae Vitae.
Right.
Did he get it right? His letter explaining the church's vision of marriage and rejecting artificial birth control?
You know, we can show now, better than we could then, that what he said about when you take away even the idea that sex is related to children, that sex has weight because it's linked to marriage, future, family, kin, love, that we would see this huge objectification of women, this huge devaluing of children. We knew it intellectually, he knew it, and theologically, but now we see it as an experiment we've conducted on children for 50 years, and we can prove it.
Thank you so much for joining us, Helen Alvare. I have your book right here and have read it. Putting Children's Interests First in U.S. Family Law and Policy. And the last part of this talks about solutions, which we didn't have a chance to get to.
Yes.
We'll have to have you back. Thank you
so
so much,
much,
Helen Alvare.